on yet.
Don't care.
Hi, welcome to today's Facebook Live with Amanda JCC. I'm Lindsay Perkins and this is my daughter Valerie and we are making matzo ball soup. Hey everybody, welcome to class. We're getting ready. Valerie said we're all set, so we're gonna make the matzo balls. We're gonna get our broth simmering, and then we're gonna saute the vegetables. Hey everyone, welcome. It's a gorgeous day outside, and we are gonna spend a little time making matzo ball soup together in honor of Passover. Hi everybody, welcome. Oh, we've got our usual suspects in the house. Thanks for coming back for another week of virtual classes with Amanda JCC. Oh, my mom's in the house. Hi, Mimi. So if you want to show me that you're here, you can hit the like button, leave a little comment before we get started. Hello, welcome, welcome.
Hello.
I've gathered my ingredients, and so I hope that you have yours. Your matzo ball soup mix, or if you want to do it from scratch and just use matzah and crush that up in your by hand or in your food processor, that's how you can do that too. Okay. Oh, Waxman's in the house. Hi. Now I've asked my sister to help me with answering comments today. So her name's Kendra. So if you ask a question,
Hi, Auntie Kenny.
Hi, Auntie Kenny. If you ask a question, she will respond to you, and that's my twin. I'm a minute older though, so I've put my little sister to task today. Hello. I think the Dorans are watching too. Hi, girls. Happy Passover. I've been sort of making matzo ball soup for a few years. It's not something that I grew up with, I can say that it certainly isn't. But starting teaching cooking classes years ago, it was one of those things that I realized it could come together pretty quickly, and it was a really satisfying and tasty meal. So, especially today, because this is the time of Passover, it's what we're gonna make. Yeah, Valerie's gonna step off camera for a second.
Can I let the dog out?
Sure. She's letting the dog out.
Hi.
So we've got our ingredients ready to go. Maybe I'll just do a quick ingredient capture while we're waiting for a few more people to pop on. So I bought this kind. This is Straits matzo ball. This is matzo ball mix and soup. I happened to have made fresh chicken stock the other night because I roasted a chicken and then I simmered the bones with some herbs and some, extra vegetables. So I have 2 quarts. I'm only going to use about 6 cups of this for today. So I'm going to use this and then half of this one. So I'm going to use that. But if you bought the matzo ball soup and the soup mix, you'll see there's 2 packs in each container. One says matzah and one says soup. So this, all you would do is dissolve this, is get your stock pot going and get it simmering. So it says that you 2.5 quarts of water, which is 10 cups, and then you dissolve this soup mix in it. It's just a chicken broth, like bouillon cubes, So we're gonna get that. So while we're starting, so I'm gonna cook here today, but I'm also going to use my back stove. So I'm going to, for right now, I'm gonna start simmering, and so if you guys are cooking along, let's get started. So we're gonna do sort of we have 3 separate components of things to do today. So we are gonna be multitasking to get this done. So if you have chicken stock, vegetable broth, whatever you have, or this soup mix, I want you to go ahead and get that going. It's because we want to have that simmering on the stove. We want that to be waiting for us. We don't want to be waiting for the stock to boil. So I'm going to just pour my 4 cups here. So this is what we're actually going to be cooking the matzo balls in. I'm just gonna stir my second quart up. Valerie's back. She was attending to the dog. That is our life chore, and the best one too. Yes, it's my favorite part of the week too. Okay, so I'm gonna pour another 2 cups in. So we've got 4. So I'm gonna do about 6 cups of broth because I'm just eyeballing it. So these are quart containers. They are a chef's best friend. Or if you order a lot of takeout, you should save these, wash them. I get these at in big sleeves at the Party Store, which is off New Park Ave, and so with lids, so then I reuse them, and it looks a little bit more professional. And it's actually just honestly easier to store stock and sort of things like that. I'm gonna just do that. Okay, so I've got my stock. I'm gonna get this simmering on the stove. So I'm gonna put a lid on it. So I've got my chicken broth. Chicken stock, whatever you want to call it, and I'm just gonna put it on like medium high, and then you just forget about it, and then when we're ready to cook off the matzah or simmer the matzah balls, it'll be ready for us. Now we want to bring it to a boil, but then reduce it. So that's kind of one of the tips to not having your matzah balls falling apart. You don't want the broth to be rapidly boiling because that will sort of like beat up the matzah ball. We just want a gentle simmer at the time when we're ready to cook the matzahs. All right, everyone doing okay? Yep, okay. Hi, Adria, you're watching. All right, so now we're gonna do, so we've got our stock simmering. I hope that was enough time for everyone to kind of get that going. If not, you'll catch up because this is, the second part is what we're gonna be doing is assembling the actual matzah balls. Yeah, Valerie's, she's already claimed she's doing that. So I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use this matzah package. Actually, I need a little scissors for this one. So I'm just making one. Oh, I guess I should mention. So if you had stock and you wanted to, and you didn't want to buy the kit that has, yep, you can just pour it right in the, it's just pulverized matzah. So you can put it right in your bowl. So you're gonna empty the contents of the matzah pack into the bowl, or if you've got, whole matzah that you wanted to crush up, put it in the food processor. It smells like stale bread. That's exactly what it is. It's crackers. These are unleavened crackers. And so what we're doing is we're going to make a soft, yummy dumpling out of this matzah meal. Okay. So if you just because I got on a tangent, if you just get the matzah ball mix, there's 2 packets in there, matzah, assuming that you would use your own broth at home. So I'm gonna set these aside to give us a little bit of room. So this couldn't be more simple to get things going and get cooking your matzahs. So what we're gonna do is you are going, Valerie, can you just pull your sleeves up?
Yeah.
Thank you. So we are going to do, and now if you're at home and you just read the instructions on the mix, add the contents of 1 packet and mix with 2 eggs and 1/4 cup of oil, and then you're gonna let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes. So Valerie, go ahead. You're just gonna start cracking. You can put the shell right back in there. Yeah. So there we go. Easy, easy. Matzah pack, or matzah meal, 2 eggs. How much matzah meal? Well, okay, so if you bought one of these kits, you just use what the bag is. Use what the pre-measured bag is. If you're pulverizing your own, that's a great question. If you're mixing up, breaking up your own matzah in very small pieces, I would say this is about 1/2 cup to 2/3 cup. Certainly not 3/4 cup. Yep, go ahead. Now, I know there are lots of, time-tested family recipes, which I love to hear how everyone makes theirs. So this is just the way that I have made it, a very kind of, I will say Americanized version of matzah ball soup. So Valerie's just gonna start mixing it up. So she's gonna mix in the 2 eggs, the 1/4 cup of oil. I use canola oil, vegetable oil. If you didn't have anything else and you had olive oil, fine. Just sort of a neutral oil. So we've got that. So she's gonna mix it completely together until the egg is incorporated and the flour, the egg and the oil into the matzah. The matzah meal. So yeah, we're stirring, and so now kind of an integral part of this process after you mix it is that, yeah, it does smell good. is you need to let this sit now for 10 minutes or so. I guess other people, you would sort of let it go, honestly, as if you needed more time, that's fine. So we've mixed up the matzah meal. Can I give it a little stir there? Oh yeah, so you can see it's getting thick because eggs are a thickener. The oil's gonna help keep it, after. So as you can see, it's already mixed, mine is mixed, very well. And I'm just gonna set it to the side. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna absorb the liquid, the matzah is gonna soften, and then it's gonna help, I'm sorry, I'm reading the comments. Oh, hello, the Golds are here, hi. So I'm gonna let this sit, I'm gonna stop messing around with it, I'm just gonna let it sit, because what we're gonna do now, so we've got our broth simmering, sort of, it's getting to that simmer. We've mixed up our matzo ball mix. And now what we're going to do is we are going to do, I'm gonna move some things to give myself a little more room. We're going to, if you guys have carrots and celery, we're going to chop up the veg and we're going to do a quick saute of it to help soften it. Now, if you're making this at home or you have a family recipe, even if you were just making chicken soup, you could just put it all in raw, not raw, but just uncooked, into the broth and let it, simmer for as long as you want, honestly, until the vegetables got soft. But this time we're gonna sort of, speed up the cooking process because we wanna eat, right? So we wanna speed up the cooking process and add a little bit of flavor. So I'm gonna have Valerie do my chopping. I've got this is a little cut safe glove. It actually looks very, very tiny. This is an adult size one. I'm a big advocate of using these if you're a kid at home. She's gonna put this on. She's gonna put it on the hand that's holding the food so that the hand that's holding the knife doesn't get, slippery from the glove. So what she's gonna do, so anyway, these are adult size versions. If you worked in a restaurant, if you work in a professional kitchen, you are always wearing one of these with an actual glove over it so that it doesn't get wet and soggy, because safety, of course, even if you're cooking at home. Yep, hold on one sec. So what I'm gonna have Valerie do is she is going to cut, she's just gonna slice the celery into thin slices. I got this glove, these ones I ordered online, but I believe they have some up in the center at Cook Shop Plus if you wanna call or check out their website. They come in, I have like 25 of them just for cooking classes that I do, but the kids pack come in packs of 2, and it's maybe about like $5. So I think and they're washable. You just throw them in the oven, in the washing machine. So Valerie's chopping. I'm just gonna do this. I feel actually so safe that she's chopping when she's wearing this cut safe glove. It's just more of like a stress reliever, and you could be the most seasoned cook out there and still get distracted and like nick yourself with a knife. So especially for a little kid who's still sort of getting the feel for a knife, getting the feel for, how dense a carrot is when you cut it. That's just like a mother's peace of mind. Not that I let her doing this alone, but since I'm sitting next to her, I'm just glancing at her and I just feel really good about it, that we're cooking together. So she's gonna keep going, so you can just go. Now the normal, actually, can I show everybody something? So I'm just gonna push some of this off. So a little bit of like basic knife skills. If you were gonna do something like what we're doing is slicing a carrot, a piece of celery right now, what you're gonna do is you're gonna put your tip down on your cutting board and you're just gonna sort of rock it back. I hope you can see that. I can't see it because, so once the tip down, it gives it a little bit more control, and you can actually guide it a little bit easier, and you push the food down and not move the knife all over the board. So yes, you can totally try it. So it just helps get a little more of a uniform size. If you wanted to do this on a diagonal and have a nice, like, I think they call it a biased cut, that would be fancy too. So yep, so tip down. It's hard for little hands to do it. Just keep going, it's okay. So this is just for us for home, so we're not gonna be analyzing, the size of the celery or the carrots, so I'm happy with whatever Valerie does and gets the job done, that's fine. So while she's slicing up our veg, I'm going to get my saute pan ready, and I'm hopefully not going too quickly. So if you're doing this, I brought out this is just my little cooktop that I use when I do cooking demos. It's an induction cooktop, and I'm bringing it here because so I don't have to leave the spot and, you know, bring the camera and move over and do another setup. So now we're gonna cut, so Valerie's moving on to the carrots. So it's easy, with the carrot especially, you should put the tip down and then you can just cut nice circles. And she's cutting off the base and the tip because they're sort of like not edible. Now, so one thing to note is that I wash these and I'm leaving the skin on. There's probably all sorts of like minerals and good stuff in this skin that you know, get rid of if you peel it. Doesn't matter. I sort of like the rustic look as well. So you can just go a little bit thinner on that, but that's fine, Perky. That's like whatever you're doing is fine. It's totally fine. So I've got my saute pan. The cool thing about these induction cooktops, I did get this one at Cook Shop Plus. I will shamelessly plug that wonderful family-owned business in West Hartford Center. I heard in the process of doing this, a lot of people have one of these for holidays because they want another burner. And so this is kind of a safe way. It's not gas, even though they do have those kinds. It's not gas, it's induction, but you do need a special saute pan, an induction safe pan for that. So I'm just gonna plug this in. Valerie is chopping away. I can hear it, but I feel fine. So it just beeped to tell me that it's on. So the carrots, I'm gonna also do, you can just like thinly slice too, because remember we're gonna saute them. So we're just gonna have a little bit of, we're gonna have some carrots, we're gonna have some celery. Do you wanna keep going on this one?
Yes.
Okay. Valerie's gonna keep chopping the carrot. Everyone doing okay? Great tip, yay! I have a little bit of olive oil. If you want to use the canola oil, the neutral oil to saute, that's fine too. So you might hear, I'm gonna put this on and I might talk a little bit louder because there's a fan underneath this, and so I want to make sure that you can still hear me. So it's on. Oh, there's the dog. Hope everyone's managing at home. I know we are. I know just the same as you all. This reminds me of my favorite story, Stone Soup. Yes, Mom. Yep, Mom. Me too.
Oh, I remember that book.
Yeah, Ella remembers the book. So I've got my olive oil warming up. So we're asking a lot of you guys today. We're multitasking in the most hopefully efficient way. We've got our chicken stock coming to a simmer. We've got our matzo meal mix resting and absorbing all of that liquid, so they'll be nice fluffy matzo balls once they hit. Oh, and I hear my stock is boiling, so I am literally going to turn it down to just like a low now, and then I'm just going to bring it right back up to a boil one more time when it's time. Ooh, so I've got my olive oil. I'm going to turn this just a teeny bit. So I've got my olive oil in the pan. I'm going to add the celery. Now, it depending on, I don't know if we're going to add all of this because it looks,
Add the small ones.
Add the small ones, right. So into my pan, I'm adding the carrots and the celery into some olive oil. I'm hearing this. My stock is simmering and it's making all sorts of little sounds. All right, so Valerie, yes, go ahead and munch away. So what we have carrots, celery, olive oil. I'm going to season with salt and pepper. Yep. So you want to have it on like a medium high. So now we're not trying to like caramelize these. We're just really starting to take the edge off them, or the bite. Yes, it does smell delicious. It's starting to. So we're going to just kind of start sauteing up. And I think that's what and some clattering. I have a little bit of fresh rosemary. This is probably not traditional, but I'm just going to add it in while I'm sauteing. If you have time, if you have a little bit of dried herbs and you want to kind of kick up the flavor a little bit on the vegetables, go ahead and do that. Yeah, Valerie, will you let the dog out? So,
Valerie, what are you doing?
Valerie.
I'm halfway on the stairs.
Oh, okay. All right, so we're gonna let this sit. We're gonna sort of saute. I hope everything's going okay in your kitchens. Actually, I'm gonna turn it up just a little bit more. The cool thing about induction, Valerie. The cool thing about induction is that, sorry, we're getting very comfortable with the Facebook Live sort of method, and just craziness over here, craziness. So we've got things simmering away, and Valerie, you want to do me a favor and just kind of gather all these carrots and
cut them in half.
No, we can just like put them in a bowl, or do you want to grab one of those bowls just to kind of clear up our workstation?
Which one?
Anyone, that one, the top, no, that white bowl right there. So I'm gonna have Valerie clean up our workstation. Now, depending on how much matzo ball soup you're making, you could add as much of this stuff as you want, but I'm just making, enough for just us to have lunch today.
Like me.
With Valerie. So I've got things sort of simmering. I'm gonna stop, futzing around with it because let it cook. It's just like let it sit, let the bottom start browning on its own. The more that you kind of like mess around with it, it just sort of, delays the end result. So that's cooking. I'm getting a little facial. And we're going to do this. Let's get this out here. Brittany, can you put this over there? Can you just put it right over on the other side? Because we're going to get our cutting board out of the way because we don't need it. Valerie, we'll get it later. Now, we've got our veg sort of sauteing and sort of soft simmer. And we have, so I've got my matzo ball mix. You can see that it's like nice and super thick. Now, it doesn't, I love that I am getting this sort of like facial thing right now. But what we're gonna do now is we're going to start rolling our matzo. Now, I hope that everyone watching is a good multitasker and that I'm not like zipping through this. If so, just what we need is we have our stock simmering, our vegetables sauteing, carrots, celery, olive oil, salt, pepper, and some herbs if you have it. And now while that's going, I've got a watchful eye on it. I'm gonna switch over and start rolling our matzo. But Valerie, I'm gonna have you stop eating that because there's egg in the matzo mix, so we're not gonna kind of eat the raw egg.
Can I take the glove off?
Take the glove off. She's probably sweating. She's still wearing her cutting glove. So, many places are known for the size of their matzo balls. Like if you order at a deli and it comes out. We are going to go for like the smaller size matzo ball, maybe the size. I'm gonna just do this. I'm just gonna play around with it for a little bit. We're gonna just go like the size of a walnut. And yeah, so it's not necessarily sticky because there's olive oil in it. It's perfect. It's like,
Can I try?
Yep, so you're gonna just scoop out. I've just got 2 soups, like, breakfast
Like
cereal
that?
spoons. Yep, so then you're just gonna gather a little bit and just start rolling it.
Oh my god, it feels so weird.
Okay, so this is not the biggest, this is not gonna win any contest for like the biggest matzo ball, but I can tell you that it'll cook faster and you're gonna stretch your matzo meal farther. You're gonna just put it right here. So this is Valerie's. Yeah, so did you kind of like pack it in when you did that? So now we just keep going and we're just going to gather a little bit of our matzo mix. Perfect, you can keep going. I'm sure that's good. I'll double check it. So as you're rolling it, just like you're packing in a snowball, you're not gonna like squish it down, but you just wanna like gently guide it until it's a perfect little circle. So as you can see, my hands are a little shiny because of that vegetable oil. Oh, I'm gonna not forget about my vegetables. So this is actually kind of the perfect task to do while your vegetables are getting a little bit soft. Do you have a small cookie scooper? I don't have the smallest size. I have this size. And it's for what I want to do. I have this size. It's just a little bit too big. I've tried it before. I need to get that smaller size of like melon baller. Is that what you guys all have? Oh, my Uncle Kent's back. Hi, Uncle Kent. My cousin Sherry. It's a family affair. I have tons of them. Yep. Okay. So we're just going to be kind of rolling. I've already got, so Valerie, we're just going to keep going and going and going until, now I can sort of see, I guess during Passover, this would be a main part of your meal each night, I believe. So you can see how quickly it does come together. I've learned the thing about the matzo balls, once they actually start cooking, they are like sponges. So I've heard that some people cook their matzo balls in a separate pot of stock, and then they leave their soup broth to portion it in on top. because if you leave those in there, they will, like for a long period of time, beyond just the initial like cooking, that'll soak up most of the broth, and then the matzos will just get monstrous and very, very soggy. So yes, if you have any tips, you can just leave a comment with them, because I love hearing people's food traditions. All right, so last one. 3, 6, 9. Oh, good. I'm gonna add a little bit more. So as you can see, this is the perfect recipe to make with kids. We don't need to. So why don't you go wash your hands? Okay.
I slayed on the window.
Yeah. Oh, we've got 12 perfectly almost even matzo balls. So I'm gonna leave these sitting here while we wash our hands, because my hands are very, very oily. So I'm gonna leave this here so you have a nice little view of what's going on. Valerie, do you want to hop up and tell everyone a little tale while I wash my hands?
No.
Well, take a 2-second break and wash your hands, and we're going to take a minute to sort of just collect ourselves and what we've got going on in the kitchen. Take a minute to sort of organize your counter space. Now, Valerie, do you want to stir these up? So I've got.
Yeah, it smells so good.
So it smells so good.
And then I said I was.
Oh boy. She did say she was, and I still stirred it. All right, so we're just going to stir these up. These have just sort of been going, and it's actually pretty good because, it's beeping at you, because these induction cooktops, they really tell you if it turns off if you take it off the burner, which is good because it's very, very safe. And then the cooktop itself cools down in like a minute or less. So that's pretty interesting about these induction cooktops and induction stovetops in general, if you have induction. So Valerie's gonna stir it up, and we're just gonna let it sit. So now this is a good time because your matzo balls are just kind of resting as well. And we're gonna move on in just a minute, because I wanna sort of show you that we've sort of infused the veggies with some flavor. And I am sort of very excited because I did make my own chicken stock the other night. That chicken stock has all of the flavor of all of the things that I was simmering in it. That night I had roasted a chicken, and I put all the vegetables that we didn't eat for dinner that night, I put back into the pot with more fresh herbs and more like raw onion and garlic, and let that simmer. I think I just forgot about it on the stove for the whole night. So it got a nice like dark golden color, and it was very satisfying. Yeah. What's that? Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I'm going to move off my sauteed vegetables, and I'm gonna bring on, and that's why I use this particular pan, because there we go. I use this pan because there we go. It's a little fussy, but as you can tell, so I'm going to put it up to like, it goes to 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So now my broth, I sort of want you to see this without my phone like falling into it. So so there's my simmering broth.
And do you want to show them
Oh,
that?
Valerie wants to show you the, move it, I can't, I'm like, there's the veg. And I'm gonna wait till this comes up to like a gentle simmer, and I hope that everyone is ready to move on and do this next part. So I am definitely getting a facial, so that is a bonus. I have a serrated spoon. So this is also very cool about induction, is that it comes back to a boil like very, very quickly. Smell that perky, it's so good. I wish you guys could smell this. Okay.
It smells like mushrooms.
It smells like mushrooms. That's interesting because I didn't put any mushrooms in there. Maybe it's taken on those, earthy qualities with all the herbs and the yummy things that I put in there.
It smells like mushrooms.
Right. So what I'm gonna do, and the thing is why I made them smaller is because they cook faster. If I forgot to say that too. I did say that. Oh. So now we know that one little packet of the matzah mix makes 12 walnut size.
And one ginormous one.
Yeah, or one ginormous one. That would be interesting. That would be an experiment to make one huge one and then see what happens. It'd probably take a while to cook though. All right, so we've got our stock.
What's the stuff on the top?
It's just sort of like some of the olive oil and some of the like the fat. I guess she just said what's the stuff on the top. There's not a lot of it, but there's enough. Fat is flavor many times. So what we're gonna do is I've got this to a gentle simmer. This is not a rolling boil. I'm just going to
Carrots.
What's that?
Carrots.
Yeah. So I'm just going to lower in.
It's like you're frying.
Do you want to do it, Perky?
Yeah. It's like you're frying.
Yeah, it's sort of like she said. It's like you're frying, but yes, but it's not as fattening. So I'm just gonna drop in the matzo balls gently because it's hot broth, so you don't want to like plunk them in. Now I will be very curious to see how different ways that you guys make your matzo ball soup. But this is the one that I think I've tested multiple times and it works, and you get soup. So just plunk them in. So we don't want that rolling boil because we do not want these to be broken apart by, massive amounts of movement. So there we go.
Then we fell right apart.
Yeah, and if it does fall apart, that's life,
They're making a circle.
They're making a circle on its own, so they just start sort of floating, and then you'll be able to tell once they change they get a little bit lighter in color and a little bit puffier, that they're done. So we're gonna do that. Thank you, Valerie. Keep going. This actually is a perfect task for a kid. I know I keep saying that, but every time I cook with Valerie, she reminds me how independent she is and how much she can do.
Can I just leave the spoon?
Yeah, well, you don't have to leave the spoon in, but what we're gonna do is you can just gently, there's like always one that breaks apart. It's like, what is that? The rest are like beautiful.
Can I stir?
No, we don't want to stir it. We literally just want them to sit and simmer. I'm going to bring this here. Oh, can you guys see that?
It's in a circle.
So that's what's going on in my pot. And so that's that. So we're going to let that just like simmer. We're not going to add the veg until the end. And I want to make sure it doesn't fall off my tripod. All right, how's it going, everybody out there? Are we in this together? I hope so. So we're letting this, and I can see already that they're getting a little bit lighter, but so you just want to be gentle, gentle, gentle. And truthfully, this walnut size. I want to know how big you usually make your matzo balls, but it's really the perfect size. If you want it, for a kid would probably eat 2 of these. I mean, unless you're super starving, an adult maybe like 3. But as I'm saying, if it's just part of your meal, it's a perfect appetizer.
We're going to eat them.
And we are going to eat them. When? We're going to eat it right after.
Why is there white?
Well, that was a part of the egg white. I noticed that when we were stirring it up that there was a little piece of egg white that didn't exactly get mixed in, but that's okay. So this is exciting because you can almost see them like expanding.
I smell mushroom.
I don't know why you do.
Remember you had the cooked
So this is actually good too because we have our veg, and it's sort of, as it cools, it's sort of that carryover cooking is very good as well. Yeah, honey, do you want to put it in the sink just gently around the side? So we've got that going, and now we're just going to really watch and make sure that things are cooking. And so I hope.
When are you going to see the color change? Are the color changing?
No, we don't. She just said, when are we going to see the color change? I think I confused her. So it's not going to color change. It's just they're just going to lighten up as they puff.
Yeah, so that's basically color change.
And I forgot the star ingredient. I didn't forget it yet. We just haven't gotten to that part yet. The star ingredient for many people of matzo ball soup is dill. Now, if you're not a dill fan,
dill.
Right, I'm going to grab the dill. So I happen to go to the store. I have this massive herb planter that I made myself because I went to the store, and the herbs were just so huge. Like the packet of cilantro was bigger than I've ever seen, and I have cilantro, parsley, and dill. So I have so much dill, I don't even know what to do with all of it. But I'm going to use some. I'm definitely going to use some on the top of our matzo ball soup.
Take the whole thing.
Just leave it like that. I'm going to turn this down because the matzo balls, the soup's sort of, you just want to keep watching so that it doesn't get over that rapid boil, because these are literally, maybe this is like beginner Facebook Live matzo ball luck because they look gorgeous. Like literally, I'm so
They're
proud.
so round.
They're so round. But what you want to do is you want to take that extra time to make sure that they're cooked all the way through. So you just let it go and you kind of have a chat, putter around your kitchen.
You know the mushroom that's like on the bar with the
A mushroom?
Yeah, it's a
Valerie
mushroom.
telling me a side story in front of everyone. What is it, Valerie?
It's the green mushroom and the like thing that has all the it
No.
has the it's so asparagus. What's it called?
We're telling stories now. It's really, she's gonna have to fill me in later. I just forget it. I don't know what she's saying. I have no idea. So I've got my matzo balls.
Like the mushrooms used for the stew that was covered in the brown stuff.
Oh,
Just
right.
like
Yeah.
that.
These look so beautiful, and I can tell they're floating. They're not sinkers. Now I've heard that some people make this with seltzer. I've heard that. Now I wouldn't be what you would do during Passover. If some people add. Someone was like, oh, add a little bit of baking powder or some baking soda. And I was like, oh, well, that's not, we don't want to add any leavener during this time. So, which is why you're not using yeast. If you're Jewish and you're following, Passover standards, you're not using yeast leaveners. So that's why everyone gets very creative with matzah and why this soup is so great to make because there aren't, yeah, I mean, they're like soft. It's not like hot. Sure, you can have them. She's gonna test the veggies to make sure that they're okay.
Oh my god.
Now I'm sure there's some very creative kind of variations on matzo balls. You could probably add different flavorings, herbs, fresh herbs, and get very creative with it. But we wanted to stick with the traditional, what is traditional to me, and I think to the population. Hi, Colby. With this version of matzo ball soup, which is why I just kept it with carrots and celery. Some people put chicken in their matzo ball soup at the end, or use a rotisserie chicken and add it. So it's very, very versatile. You can make it as hearty as you would like. So this looks very good. I've got things cooking. I wonder how everything's going on in your own kitchens.
Hit the 30-minute mark.
Have we hit the 30-minute mark?
34 minutes.
Oh, wow.
5 minutes.
Time flies when you're Facebook living. All right, so I'm just going to let these simmer for a few more minutes, and then we're going to plate. But I wanted to talk about next week. Next week,
What is it?
It's the final day of, it's the day before the final day of Passover, and so we thought, now I haven't run this by the JCC. I thought, their thoughts were, let's do something sweet for Passover, which I want your suggestions. But I thought, what if we make matzah? It's 2 ingredients. And so I haven't run that by anybody yet.
What is it?
But I thought, I've never made matzah. I bet a lot of people haven't made matzah and they just, buy it in the box like it comes. So I like that way because I'm a baker, and to make your own cracker is a very satisfying thing, especially to make your own matzah during Passover, I think would be very satisfying. So you guys can leave your suggestions, and we will put out information about our next Facebook Live in the next couple of days. And so I think that's exciting. Or I did love that idea of you use a piece of matzah, and then you coat it. It's like the matzah with the like the toffee matzah with like chocolate and that brown sugar. And I think I have to do a little more research on it. You guys are probably laughing at my lack of Passover dessert knowledge, but that we could do that too. I just thought maybe we could make our own matzah and see what it tastes like together. So, and you have only 18 minutes from start to finish, basically. And so leftover matzah is delicious as chocolate toffee. Yes, chocolate toffee. That's what I was trying to say. So I'm going to do this. These look so good. They've been simmering in this, gently boiling water. All we need to do is cook them through so that you cook the egg. So that's good. Passover will be over by next week. Leftover, I want to do chocolate covered matzah. Ooh, okay. I want to know what you guys want to do, so leave your suggestions. So, I'm going to give you one more view of what's going on in my pot. I hope you guys can see it. I am very pleased with the matzahs. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to, I feel like they're pretty much done. And you know what's going on in your own pot. So if you still need a few more minutes, like keep it going depending on your size. But so this one really puffed up. So that's now like the size of a golf ball, and it started the size of a walnut. So that's pretty good. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this, just like I would do if I was testing anything else. I'm just gonna cut one in half so I can see what's going on. Oh, yep, it's definitely cooked through. It is that is great. This is so fun. So I'm gonna turn off my cooktop because I am all done with my matzo facial and I feel really good about my pores right now. So I'm gonna move this down. I'm gonna move my cooktop out of the way. So Valerie, look, matzo ball soup. So now what we're going to do, you could do a couple of different things. Yeah, it's very, very hot. That's very, very hot. So you could plate this individually. Oh, now that fan is off of the you could plate this individually by just spooning in some of the warm.
I want some more celery.
Valerie, you can have as much as you like, but so you can do this. We're gonna spoon in some of that. You can keep going on your bowl, Perky.
This one's mine?
Yes, that one is yours. And then you just spoon in the broth and a matzo ball, maybe two. And I've got this really great looking, I'll let you, oh sorry honey. I'll let you spoon in your own.
Perfect. Look at all that celery.
Perfect, she says.
Nice.
Yep, so you can spoon in, and I am gonna grab some dill off my massive dill sort of planter. And some people go crazy with the dill, and it's like actual, it's like part of the soup, not just a garnish. So if you're one of those people that loves dill, go to town. I sort of love the color contrast too, like the bright green with the yellow and the white of the I guess the opaque of the matzo balls. So if you didn't cook along with us, I hope we've inspired you to try this recipe. Oh, Valerie's getting the dill. Perfect. Yep. I hope that we've inspired you to at least try this at some point. You don't have to, you can make it all year round. I want to see if you guys can see my bowl. Woo! Can you see Valerie's bowl? Well,
can you eat dill?
you can definitely eat dill. Valerie, yeah, we are 100% eating
Why
dill.
do you have so much dill?
Because I like dill. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna give Valerie her spoon. Your bowl looks absolutely beautiful. Hollow would be great. So if you want to keep your suggestions coming for next week, we are going to discuss and we will post the recipe and we will post the ingredient list. And I really hope that you join us next week. Does anyone have any like parting words or anything they'd like to say? I guess I just want to say thank you for keep cooking with me and coming back and watching us, cook along in our kitchen, building a community, even though we're confined to our homes for the most part. This is one of my favorite parts of the week to kind of do what I love to do, which is cook with my kid, and show others how to do something that I'm passionate about. So thank you for coming back and for watching and for sharing these videos and for liking it. And if you're not following me on Facebook or Instagram, you can follow me at Lindsay Culinary. Lindsay is spelled with an A-Y. So that's good. Valerie, would you like to say anything? Say thank you. Everyone's watching you cooking and enjoying your company. I'm going to make it before it gets too hot in here. Oh, yeah, that's good. Thank you, Lindsay. Oh, special time. I'm just reading a couple of the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your Passover. Have a wonderful rest of your week. And we will talk to you soon. So thank you so much for watching. Bye, Uncle Kent. We are so proud of you. We're so proud of you. So we'll talk to you guys soon, and let us know how you liked your matzo ball soup. I'd love to see your pictures of your soup coming out. You can share it with us on social media. Thank you so much. Valerie, you want to do a cheers? A matzo ball soup cheers? Can you see that? I'm so proud of us.
I'm not looking at it because
yeah,
it's
that's
too
right.
hot.
Cheers. All right, so you're going to cut it up and taste it. And this is like eating on live camera. Mmm, so good. It's really that dill that just brings it all together. Bye, everybody. Valerie, say goodbye. We'll eat it after.
Bye.
Bye, Waxmans. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Mimi.
See you, Sherry. Love you guys. Have a great day.